Three, two, one.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, April 2nd, 2019. What a night and day it has been for Bitcoin, for Litecoin. We're going to talk about it in this video. You might have woken up to some awesome gains for the crypto markets. So first off, if you've been accumulating in these markets, if you've been accumulating lows or holding since all-time highs last year, congratulations. I mean, at the end of the day, it is exciting to see green days. It always is. And you never want to discount it. You want to enjoy it, right? And if you're here to take some profits, I don't hold it against you. I'm personally, that's not what I'm doing right now because as you can see on the charts, zoomed out, we're at just a phase, an important phase, actually still an accumulation phase for many of us. So I'm not going to talk about too much on the zoomed out chart, but you get a really clear idea of Bitcoin and this bottom channel that we've been trading in, talking about almost repetitively for months now, but it's important because we've been really tracking it in synergy with that last bear market and its bottom channel. So playing out really nicely. Let's go over to a little bit more zoomed in version of the charts, right? So here's the daily chart, and I'm going to post a link to a video I did probably, what date was this? March 6th. And it was basically Bitcoin 5,000, Litecoin $90. And we talked about the bullish potential for an upside break for both Bitcoin and Litecoin in that video. And I'm going to post a link in the description below if you want to revisit that for context to what's going on now. But essentially, we have this ascending triangle we've talked about and been tracking, and we got a break above the upper trend line of the ascending triangle, a bullish break after support above the 50 moving average, inverse of the descending triangle up here with resistance at the 50 moving average, a bearish break. We've gotten the inverse of that, a bullish break. We've been talking about it on this channel because we had a bullish setup, and it was I don't want to say it was obvious because at the end of the day, anything could have happened. However, the targets were obvious, and we've talked about the targets. We had two targets. One was the inverse head and shoulders, the height of the head to this neckline, and the other was the height of this ascending triangle right there. So you can see our $5,200, the ascending triangle target, wasn't hit, but it was certainly approached, right? We wicked over $5,000 last night or early this morning, depending on where you were. And the target for the inverse head and shoulders here at 4,900, 4,800 was hit. And we saw clear resistance there, which was much anticipated. So right now we have kind of this $4,800 to $5,000 area that you can see the wick clearly within. And that is probably our clearest area of resistance if you really want to watch what Bitcoin's going to do, because we also have a confluent resistance line right here extending all the way back to May. So that's Bitcoin. At the same time, we have probably the most important thing happening. Bitcoin currently trading above the 200 moving average, which has not happened. Bitcoin has not traded above the 200 moving average or even closed above it since last April or March. And if we're talking about a reversal in these markets, that is an extremely bullish thing to keep an eye on and to actually question, will Bitcoin remain steady above the 200 moving average? It's probably the most interesting thing that I'm watching, and I want to see if it holds up. So that's kind of Bitcoin. Those are some patterns we've been tracking for months now. We've gotten a break to the upside. It's been enjoyable. And right now we see heavy resistance ahead. It could be broken. And Litecoin might hint at that. So for context, Litecoin, we've used Litecoin all year long essentially as just that indicator to potentially show us what Bitcoin is going to do. So for reference, Litecoin from swing low in December to where we're at now, around 220% or so. And Bitcoin from swing low to where we are right now, around 51%. So you can see Litecoin just making a power move, especially on the LTC BTC pair. But what I want to also talk about is, again, that bear market, right? So swing low in that last bear market to around where we are now, around 220%, leaves us right around here, right? And I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit on the chart so you can see. So swing low in that last bear market to here, around 220%. And then we also, I want to point out overextension from the 200 moving average on Litecoin at the same time, around 64%. Now, let's go to our charts where we are today. We have 200 from swing low, 220% swing low. And what are we overextending from the 200 EMA right now? From the 200 EMA, around 60 to 65%. It is almost identical, the move in Litecoin from that last bear market. And in that bear market, Litecoin led the way. In this bear market, Litecoin leading the way. Will we get a break similar, a continued break to the upside, similar to this last bear market, almost 200% more to the upside? That yet is to be seen. However, if we go over to the daily chart on Litecoin, you can see there are 215% gains, a little bit more, 220% gains. And here is this rising wedge we've been tracking all year long. I mean, it's a huge rising wedge. There's a midterm rising wedge within that rising wedge. We've gotten breakouts on both of them. And right now our target is above $100 for this rising wedge, right? I have to say, I've done bullish videos on Bitcoin and Litecoin, but I've done a ton of bearish scenarios as well, right? And if I were to sit back, have a conversation with a friend, I would have said I thought Litecoin would revisit the downside, at least the bottom trend line, before actually breaking through this wedge. And I would have been wrong. So that just goes to show that when I'm doing these videos, I'm not sitting here saying I know what's going to happen. I'm throwing you the data so that we can all be prepared in any scenario, upside or downside. That is how I best accumulate. That's how I accumulate, feeling comfortable with my position. And from here, we've gotten a break. We've gotten that break through the upside of this upper trend line. And right now, you can see, and I can actually open up the 4-hour chart to kind of get a better idea. We are, for context, trading around 5% or so, 5 to 6% above the trend line. So if you really want to watch support, and that's what I'd be looking for now, support at that upper trend line on this long-term wedge, I'd use the 4-hour to do so. 4-hour paints really good context for that. And again, my eyes are on Litecoin. If I'm watching Bitcoin, I'm accumulating both. But definitely Litecoin is a beautiful indicator for the markets. It just is. If you disagree with that, that's okay. But it just is from technical perspective and the data that we have historically. So lastly, I just want to point out Litecoin, it's just kind of that be careful out there. It's maybe for some new people, don't FOMO so quick. The fear of missing out, right? That emotional feeling. You buy into the crazy gains. You buy when we're up 20%, right? As opposed to buying when you're down 20%. I like to buy when we're down 20%, not when we're up 20%. I like to enjoy the ride going up 20%. So the reason I'm saying this is because if you draw your attention to the middle of my screen, the RSI, this momentum oscillator, you can see Litecoin is in the overbought area, right? And similar to that last bear market, it eventually did stall out and we had a huge retracement. When will that happen? No idea. But in your accumulations, be careful for that type of scenario. We might get another 200% gains and kind of get into that overbought territory in that 90 area up here, similar to that last bear market before coming down, right? So in that case, we might get that breakout to the targets for Litecoin's $100+ targets and then get a retracement all the way back down. The markets are extremely volatile, and no matter what YouTuber you watch, no matter what you're doing out there, nobody knows what's going to happen. We have targets set up and we truly do most often hit them before seeing resistance, anticipated resistance or supports on the upside or downside. But from that area, all we can do is watch and wait and see. Let me know how you're doing out there. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're enjoying the gains in the markets right now. We all know they usually don't last forever before we see a retracement. So I hope you're having a great day. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel. I will see you in the next video. Have a great day and God bless.